cardboard beneath her is soaked through, freezing water seeping into her bones. Lyric haze pulls her daughter closer, trying to shield 6-year-old Maya from the brutal November wind that screams through Atlanta's downtown canyon. 3 nights sleeping in this loading dock. 3 nights since the landlord changed the locks and threw everything she owned onto the street like garbage. The shelter's full. Her sister's couch is no longer an option. So, here she is, huddled behind the Meridian Tower, the luxury high-rise where she scrubs floors and empties trash cans for people who wouldn't spit on her if she were on fire. The service door crashes open. Heavy footsteps echo on concrete. Lyric's heart hammers against her ribs. If security calls the cops, they'll take Maya. She pulls her baby tighter, praying to be invisible one more time. You're the one who leaves the notes." She looks up. Kendrick St. James stands there in a $1,000 suit. The billionaire tech mogul whose penthouse she cleans, whose loneliness she sees in empty whiskey bottles and untouched meals. The man she once left a post-it for that said, "Tomorrow will be better." He's staring at her like he's seen a ghost. "Come upstairs," he says quietly. Lyric doesn't know it yet, but saying yes will change everything. Before we begin this story, kindly tell me where you're watching from in the comments, and as you listen, remember that one small act of kindness can change life. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because what happens next will restore your faith in humanity. Lyric's first instinct is to tell him to go to hell. Pride is a funny thing when you're freezing to death. It keeps your spine straight even when your stomach is empty. Keeps your chin up even when you're sleeping on wet cardboard behind a dumpster. She's spent the last 5 years building walls so high that nobody could look down on her. Nobody could pity her. Nobody could see how badly she was breaking. But Maya whimpers in her sleep, and those walls crumble like sand. "I don't need your charity," Lyric says anyway, because even now, even here, she needs him to know she's not begging. Her voice comes out harder than she intends, sharp enough to cut. Kendrick doesn't flinch. He just stands there in the yellow glow of the security light, his dark eyes unreadable. Up close, he looks different than he does in the society pages. Tired, human. There are shadows under his eyes that expensive suits can't hide. "It's not charity," he says, and ain't his voice low and smooth. "Call it payment for a debt." "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do." He takes a step closer, and Lyric instinctively pulls Maya tighter. He stops immediately, hands visible. Smart man. He knows what it means when a woman flinches. 3 months ago, I came home at 2 in the morning. There was a note on my bathroom mirror, purple marker. "The night is always darkest before the dawn. Hold on." "Do you remember?" Lyric remembers. She remembers the forest of empty liquor bottles on his counter, the untouched food rotting in his trash, the way his whole penthouse smelled like depression and expensive cologne. She'd seen the prescription bottles in his medicine cabinet, seen the news articles about his company's scandal. She'd seen a man drowning in the same darkness she knew intimately. And for just a moment, she'd forgotten that he was a billionaire and she was the help. She'd left him a note, a stupid, naive gesture. "I leave notes for all my clients," she lies. "No, you don't." There's certainty in his voice, and something else. Gratitude. That note, I decided that night was going to be my last. I had pills lined up on the counter. And then I saw your note. Some stranger who scrubbed my toilets thought I was worth saving. I don't know why that mattered, but it did. I'm still here because of you. The words hit Lyric like a physical blow. Maya shifts in her arms, awake now, those big brown eyes watching the strange man with curiosity and fear. Kendrick's gaze drops to Maya, and something shifts in his expression. "I was 7 when my mother left me at a fire station. Spent the next 9 years in foster care. By 16, I was on the streets. I know what it's like to be invisible." Lyric wants to call him a liar, but she's cleaned his penthouse for 8 months. She's seen the faded photo he keeps hidden, the donation receipts to homeless shelters, the books about childhood trauma on his nightstand. Maybe he's telling the truth. Why do you care? The question comes out smaller than she intends. Because someone has to. He meets her eyes. One night, a warm bed and a hot meal. If you want to leave in the morning, I won't stop you. Maya coughs, a wet, rattling sound that makes Lyric's heart clench. Her baby's been fighting a cold for a week, getting worse. The kind of worse that turns into pneumonia when you don't have heat or medicine or a roof, pride or survival. It shouldn't be a choice. Lyric thinks about the eviction 3 days ago. And her landlord Marcus, standing in the doorway with that sick smile. Rent's 2 months overdue, sweetheart. But we can work something out. The way his eyes had crawled over her body. The way she'd told him to go to hell and come home to find everything on the curb. Locks changed, Maya crying on the sidewalk. She looks at Maya, her baby who deserves so much more than this. One night, Lyric says, and the words taste like surrender and salvation. And I'm gone in the morning? Kendrick nods. One night, he holds open the service door, waiting with the patience of someone who understands that trust is earned in inches. Lyric struggles to her feet, Maya clinging to her, and steps through the door into warmth. Behind them, the wet cardboard stays in the loading dock, abandoned. Tomorrow she'll leave. Tomorrow she'll figure out what comes next. But tonight, Maya will sleep somewhere warm. And maybe, just for tonight, that's enough. The elevator doors open directly into a foyer that steals Lyric's breath. White marble floors gleam under soft lighting. Abstract art covers the walls, pieces she's dusted 100 times, but never really looked at. Beyond the foyer, floor-to-ceiling windows showcase Atlanta's glittering skyline, the city spread out like diamonds on black velvet. Maya lifts her head from Lyric's shoulder, eyes going wide. Mama, are we in heaven? The innocent question breaks something in Lyric's chest. No, baby, just visiting someone's home. I'll show you to the guest room, Kendrick says, his voice careful, like he's trying not to spook a wounded animal. He leads them down a hallway lined with more art, more luxury, the more everything. He stops at a door and pushes it open. Bathroom's through there. I'll find some clothes for you both. The guest room is bigger than the entire apartment Lyric got evicted from. A king-size bed with a cream duvet that looks like clouds. Thick carpet under her feet. Windows overlooking the city. Lyric stands frozen in the doorway, painfully aware of the wet footprints she's leaving on the pristine floor. I'll get food started, Kendrick says, then hesitates. Does Maya have any allergies? Food she doesn't like? Lyric's throat tightens. When you're homeless, you don't get to be picky. She'll eat anything. He nods and disappears, leaving them alone in all this opulence. Maya wiggles down from Lyric's arms and immediately runs to the window, pressing her small hands against the glass. Mama, look! Now you can see everything. Don't touch, Lyric says automatically, then realizes how ridiculous that sounds. Don't touch the windows in the penthouse where we're charity cases. She moves to the bathroom and stops dead. It's all marble and gold fixtures, a shower with 6 different heads, towels so thick and white they look like they've never been used. There's a stack of clothes on the counter, men's t-shirts, sweatpants with drawstrings, even a child-sized shirt that Kendrick must have dug out from somewhere. A new toothbrush still in its package. Travel-sized toiletries lined up like soldiers. Come on, baby, Lyric calls to Maya. Let's get you cleaned up. The hot water is a revelation. Lyric stands under the spray, washing days of street grime and shame from her skin, while Maya plays with the fancy soap dispenser, delighted by the foam. For 10 minutes, Lyric lets herself pretend this is normal, that she belongs in places like this, that her daughter isn't learning what it means to be invisible before she's even lost her first tooth. When they emerge in borrowed clothes that smell like expensive detergent, the smell of food draws them to the kitchen. Kendrick stands at the stove, his suit jacket gone, sleeves rolled up, looking oddly domestic as he plates scrambled eggs and toast. It's not fancy, he says, almost apologetic, but it's hot. Maya climbs into a chair at the kitchen island, and Lyric watches her daughter eat like she's starving, because she is. They both are. Lyric forces herself to eat slowly, to maintain some dignity, but the food tastes like salvation. Kendrick leans against the counter, watching them with an expression Lyric can't quite read. Not pity exactly, something softer, more complicated. Why did you really help me? Lyric asks when Maya's attention is focused on her eggs. People like you don't just bring homeless people into their penthouses. I told you, the note thing, I heard you, but that was 3 months ago. You could have sent a thank you card. You didn't have to do this. Kendrick is quiet for a long moment. There were more notes after that first one. Every week, sometimes twice a week. You're stronger than you know. This too shall pass. Someone's rooting for you. His voice drops. My company was imploding. My ex-fiancé had sold corporate secrets to my biggest competitor and made it look like I was the one committing fraud. I lost half my board, millions in stock value, and any reputation I'd built. I was facing federal investigation for crimes I didn't commit. Lyric remembers those weeks. The penthouse had felt like a mausoleum, death hovering in every corner. Your notes were the only kindness I received during that time, Kendrick continues. The only thing that reminded me I was human, not just a headline. So, when I saw you out there with your daughter, sleeping on cardboard, he trails off, shaking his head. How could I not help? Maya's head droops, exhaustion finally winning. Lyric catches her before she face plants into her eggs. I'll take the couch, Lyric says quickly. Or the floor. We don't need the bed. Take the bed, Kendrick interrupts firmly. I'll sleep in the master suite. The guest room is yours tonight. He leaves before Lyric can argue. Yes, and she carries Maya to the cloud-like bed, tucking her daughter under covers that probably cost more than a month's rent. Maya's asleep before her head hits the pillow, her little face finally peaceful. Lyric lies down beside her, staring at the ceiling, surrounded by luxury she'll never have again after tomorrow. The silk sheets feel like a dream, like something that will evaporate when she wakes up. She should sleep. She should rest while she can. But all she can think about is the man down the hall who saved her life with hot water and scrambled eggs, and what it will cost her when morning comes. Morning light floods the penthouse, turning everything gold. Lyric wakes disoriented, wrapped in silk sheets she has no right to touch. Maya's already awake, sitting by the window, watching the city come alive below. For a moment, Lyric lets herself imagine this is real, that they belong here. Then reality crashes back. They need to leave before Kendrick regrets his kindness. She finds him in the kitchen, making pancakes with the focused intensity of a man who learned to cook out of necessity, not joy. He's wearing different clothes, charcoal slacks and a crisp white shirt, but his feet are bare. Something about that small intimacy makes Lyric's chest tight. Good morning, he says, like having homeless strangers at his breakfast table is perfectly normal. I wasn't sure what Maya would like, so I made everything. Everything turns out to be pancakes, bacon, eggs, fresh fruit arranged like artwork. Maya bounces into the kitchen and gasps at the spread, her delighted laughter filling the space. The sound transforms Kendrick's face. Just for a second, something warm breaks through his careful control. They eat in awkward silence punctuated by Maya's chatter about the castle in the sky. Kendrick's phone buzzes incessantly. He ignores it until it rings, the sound shrill and demanding. I have to take this, he says, his jaw tight. Business crisis. Make yourselves at home. He disappears into his office, and Lyric hears his voice rise and fall through the door. Sharp, commanding, nothing like the gentle man who made pancakes for a 6-year-old. Time to go. They've overstayed their welcome. Lyric gathers their meager belongings, the dirty clothes they arrived in, now washed and folded by Kendrick at some point during the night. She's pulling on her jacket when the office door opens. What are you doing? Kendrick's voice cuts across the foyer. Leaving. Like I said I would. Where will you go? Lyric's pride flares hot and defensive. That's not your problem. The shelters are still full. I checked. He crosses the distance between them, and Lyric hates how her heart hammers at his approach. Your landlord changed the locks. Your sister won't take you back. Where exactly are you planning to sleep tonight? We'll figure it out. We always do. No. The word comes out flat, final. I have a better idea. Lyric laughs, bitter. What? Let us stay here forever? Play house? I'm not your charity project. You're right, you're not. Kendrick pulls out his phone, scrolls through something, then looks at her with an expression she can't read. I need a wife. The words hang in the air like smoke. Lyric stares at him. Excuse me? I'm trying to acquire Vision Tech, a major competitor. But my reputation is still damaged from the scandal. The board thinks I'm unstable, reckless. They want to see a stable, respectable image before they'll approve the deal. He speaks like he's presenting a business plan, not proposing marriage. I need a wife, someone respectable, someone who photographs well, someone temporary. You've lost your mind. Think about it. He steps closer, and Lyric backs up until she hits the wall. He stops, giving her space, but his intensity doesn't waver. You need safety and stability for Maya. I need a wife to close this deal. 1 year, a business arrangement, you get financial security, a home, health care. I get the image I need. After a year, we divorce quietly. You walk away with enough money to start over anywhere you want. I'm not for sale, Lyric spits, and we even as her mind races through what he's offering. A year of safety, a year of Maya sleeping in a real bed, going to a good school, eating 3 meals a day. It's not buying you, it's hiring you. Kendrick pulls a folder from seemingly nowhere. Standard contract, separate bedrooms, separate lives. You maintain your independence. I maintain mine. We appear together for public events, play the happy couple. After 12 months, we part ways. No hard feelings. Lyric snatches the folder, scanning the pages. The terms are detailed, clinical, monthly salary that makes her dizzy, health care, education fund for Maya, exit clause with substantial payout. It's a job offer, not a marriage proposal. This is insane, she whispers. It's practical. His dark eyes search hers. You saved my life, Lyric. Let me save yours. 1 year. Strictly business. Maya appears in the hallway, clutching a piece of paper. She's drawn the 3 of them, stick figures holding hands in front of the penthouse windows. Look, Mama, our family in the pretty house. Lyric's heart shatters. Maya's already attached, already dreaming impossible dreams. She looks at the contract, at Kendrick's carefully neutral face, at her daughter's hopeful eyes. Pride or survival. Again. Always. 1 year, Lyric says, her voice steady even as her hands shake. Strictly business. No feelings. No complications. Agreed. She signs the contract before she can change her mind. Kendrick's signature joins hers, black ink sealing a bargain that feels like dancing with the devil. They're both lying to themselves about the no feelings part. They both know it, neither says a word. The City Hall ceremony takes 12 minutes. Lyric wears a simple cream dress Kendrick bought her that morning. Maya clutches a bouquet of daisies, bouncing on her toes with excitement she doesn't understand. Kendrick's Uncle Roman stands as witness, his dark eyes tracking every interaction with the sharp assessment of a man who's seen too many deals go south. You sure about this, nephew? Roman asks while Lyric signs the marriage certificate. Completely, Kendrick lies smoothly. Roman's gaze slides to Lyric, and she sees the warning there. Don't hurt him. She wants to laugh, as if she could hurt a man who has everything while she has nothing. They're married before lunch. Mrs. Lyric St. James. The name feels like a costume that doesn't fit. Maya's new bedroom looks like a princess exploded. Kendrick hired designers while Lyric was at her shift at the diner. Her last shift, though she didn't know it then. Pink canopy bed, bookshelves already filled, a toy chest overflowing with stuffed animals, a mural of a castle on one wall. This is too much, Lyric says, throat tight. It's just right, Kendrick counters, watching Maya squeal and spin in circles. She deserves it. The unspoken part hangs between them. You both do. Their first public appearance is the Carter Foundation Gala, Atlanta's social event of the season. Lyric stands in front of the mirror in a midnight blue gown that costs more than she made in 6 months of cleaning. The dress fits perfectly because Kendrick hired a tailor who came to the penthouse, measuring her like she mattered. I can't do this, Lyric whispers as the town car pulls up to the venue. Camera flashes explode like artillery fire. Yes, you can. Kendrick takes her hand, and the touch sends electricity up her arm. Just stay close to me. The ballroom is a sea of designer gowns and practiced smiles. Women who lunch and men who own companies size her up with predatory interest. Lyric feels their judgment like knives. The cleaning woman who trapped a billionaire, the gold digger, the charity case. Mrs. St. James, a woman in diamonds purrs. What a fascinating story. From rags to riches in one night. Kendrick's hand tightens on Lyric's waist. My wife's story is her own to tell, not yours to dissect. The protective edge in his voice surprises them both. Later, in the penthouse, Kendrick teaches her to waltz for the next event. His hand spans her waist, warm through the thin fabric of her practice clothes. They move around the living room while Maya giggles from the couch. "Relax," Kendrick murmurs, too close. "You're fighting me." "I don't like being led." "I noticed." There's amusement in his voice, something almost fond. But sometimes, Lyric, it's okay to trust someone else to catch you. Their eyes meet, and the air shifts. His thumb brushes her hip bone, probably accidental, definitely electric. Lyric pulls away before she does something stupid like lean in. The media calls them a Cinderella story. Photos of their wedding appear in society pages with breathless captions. Kendrick's approval ratings soar. The Vision Tech board softens. Everything is going according to plan, except for the small moments that aren't in the contract. Kendrick reading bedtime stories to Maya, doing different voices that make her shriek with laughter. The way he leaves coffee exactly how Lyric likes it every morning without asking. How he absently touches her lower back when guiding her through crowds, protective without being possessive. How Lyric catches herself watching him work, admiring the sharp focus in his eyes, the way he rolls his sleeves when concentrating. How her heart does traitorous things when he smiles at Maya's terrible knock-knock jokes. Roman corners Lyric at a business dinner, his expression grave. "Whatever game you're playing, I'm not playing anything," Lyric cuts him off. "This is a business arrangement. That's all." "Then why do you look at him like that?" "Like what?" "Like you're falling." Lyric has no answer because she's terrified Roman's right. That night, she lies in her guest room bed, or separated from Kendrick by a hallway that might as well be an ocean. She hears him moving in the master suite, pacing, restless. She wonders if he's thinking about her, wonders if this ache in her chest is mutual, or if she's just another transaction to him. The separate bedrooms feel further apart every night. 3 more weeks until month 2. 11 months after that until freedom. Lyric closes her eyes and tries not to count the ways she's already breaking her own rules. Maya's voice rings through the penthouse at breakfast. "Dad, can you pass the syrup?" The word lands like a bomb. Everyone freezes. Maya doesn't seem to notice, reaching for her pancakes, but Lyric sees Kendrick's hand shake as he passes the syrup bottle, sees something raw and unguarded flash across his face before he buries it. "Thanks, Dad," Maya says cheerfully, drowning her pancakes in sweetness. Kendrick's eyes meet Lyric's across the table. She should correct Maya, should remind her daughter this is temporary, that Kendrick isn't her father, that in 11 months they'll be gone, and calling him Dad will only make it harder. But the hope on his face stops her. The vulnerable, terrified hope of a man who's never been anyone's father, who spent his childhood unwanted, who's clearly fallen for her daughter as hard as Lyric's fallen for. No, she's not going there. "More orange juice, baby?" Lyric asks instead, changing the subject, and pretends not to notice the way Kendrick's shoulders relax in relief. Later that week, Lyric sits at the kitchen counter with her laptop, staring at the college enrollment page. She'd been 3 semesters from her business degree when she got pregnant with Maya. He's had to drop out, survival trumping dreams. The tuition number makes her stomach drop. Even with her monthly salary from the contract, it's not feasible. Not if she wants to save enough for when this year ends and she's on her own again. She closes the laptop. Some dreams stay deferred, but the next morning, there's an email. "Congratulations on your enrollment. Your tuition has been paid in full." She calls the bursar's office, confused, and they tell her an anonymous donor covered everything. Lyric doesn't have to ask who. She finds Kendrick in his office. "You can't keep doing this." "Doing what?" He doesn't look up from his screens. "Paying for things. The tuition. I don't know what you're talking about." "Kendrick, you saved my life," with a post-it note, Lyric. He finally meets her eyes. "Let me give you a future." "Please." She wants to argue, wants to maintain her independence, but the genuine plea in his voice disarms her completely. "Thank you," she whispers, and leaves before the tears fall. The museum fundraiser that night is supposed to be routine. Another public appearance, another performance as the happy couple. Lyric's getting better at this. The small talk, the practice smiles, the way she lets Kendrick's hand rest on her lower back like she belongs there. Then Victoria Ashford glides over, and the temperature drops. She's stunning. The kind of beautiful that comes from genetics and expensive maintenance. Honey brown skin glowing, hair in perfect waves, wearing a gown that probably costs more than a car. Her smile is all teeth and no warmth. "Kendrick, darling." She kisses both his cheeks, ignoring Lyric entirely. It's been too long." "Victoria." Kendrick's voice goes flat, guarded. "I didn't know you were back in Atlanta." "Just returned from Paris. Couldn't miss the exhibit." Her eyes finally slide to Lyric, assessing and dismissing in one glance. "And this must be your wife. How quaint. I love a good redemption story." The insult is wrapped in silk, but it cuts just the same. Quaint, like Lyric's a project, a charity case, a stray Kendrick picked up and dressed in designer clothes. "Victoria was my CFO," Kendrick says tightly, "before she left the company." "Before I left you, you mean?" Victoria's smile sharpens. "During that unfortunate scandal. But I see you've landed on your feet and found such an interesting replacement." Lyrics learned to read subtext in high society. Interesting means poor. A replacement means you'll never measure up. The insecurity she's been fighting surges back with vengeance. "Lyric's not a replacement for anyone," Kendrick says, and there's an edge to his voice Lyric's never heard. Dangerous, protective. "If you'll excuse us, Victoria." He guides Lyric away, his hand firm on her waist, and she hates how safe that touch makes her feel. They're silent in the car ride home. Maya's asleep with the babysitter, so the penthouse is quiet when they enter. Lyric heads straight for her room, but Kendrick's voice stops her. "She's the one who betrayed me." The words come out raw. "Victoria, the scandal. She sold my proprietary software to competitors, made it look like corporate espionage from my end. Then she left when the board turned against me. I took a position with the rival company using my stolen tech." Lyric turns. Kendrick standing in the dim hallway, bow tie undone, looking more human than Billionaire. "Why tell me?" "Because I saw your face tonight. How she made you feel small." He moves closer. "You're not small, Lyric. You're not quaint or interesting or any of her passive-aggressive bullshit. You're..." He stops, jaw working. "You survived homelessness with a child. You worked 3 jobs and still had kindness left over for a stranger's pain. She'll never be half the woman you are." The words break something open in Lyric's chest. She finds herself talking about Jamal, about the pregnancy, about the first time he hit her, and the last time she let him, about choosing to be homeless rather than stay with someone who made her feel worthless. Kendrick shares his story too. A foster homes and streets, building his first company from nothing. The hunger that never quite leaves, even when the refrigerator's full. They end up on the couch, sitting closer than the contract allows, sharing wounds like secrets. "I almost kissed you that night," Kendrick admits. "When we were dancing." "I know," Lyric's heart hammers. "I almost let you." They're leaning in, breath mingling, when reality crashes back. The contract, the timeline, the inevitable end. They pull apart simultaneously, both terrified of what comes next. "Good night, Lyric," Kendrick says roughly. "Good night." She lies in bed later, hearing him pace in the master suite, knowing he's as restless as she is. Knowing that separate bedrooms don't mean separate hearts. 10 more months, God help them both. 3 months in, and the lines are blurring. Lyric finds herself in the kitchen with Kendrick on a Saturday morning, their hands bumping as they reach for the same mixing bowl. He's teaching her his grandmother's cornbread recipe, the only thing he has left from a woman who fostered him for 2 brief, happy years before cancer took her. The intimacy of it steals Lyric's breath. Not the accidental touches, but the trust. He's sharing ghosts with her. Movie nights become routine. Maya between them on the couch, Kendrick making popcorn the old-fashioned way, because Maya said microwave stuff tastes like sadness. They watch animated films, and Kendrick knows all the words to Encanto. Lyric catches him singing along to Surface Pressure, and their eyes meet over Maya's head, and something warm and terrifying blooms in her chest. The pool on the building's rooftop becomes Maya's favorite place. Kendrick teaches her to swim with patience Lyric didn't know he possessed. his hands gentle as he guides her daughter through the water. "I got you, baby girl. I won't let you go." Maya trusts him completely. Lyric's not far behind. Sienna shows up unannounced on a Tuesday, her judging eyes taking in the penthouse, the life Lyric's building. "You're playing with fire," her sister warns over coffee. "He's a billionaire, Lyric. This is temporary. Don't forget that." "I haven't forgotten. Haven't you?" Sienna's gaze is sharp. "You look at him like he's yours. He's not. In 9 months, you'll be out on your ass with a broken heart and a daughter who's lost another father figure." The words haunt Lyric for days. But then there's the business dinner where Kendrick's associates grill her, testing this woman who appeared from nowhere. When they discuss the Vision Tech acquisition, Lyric mentions something she read about their patent vulnerabilities. The table goes quiet. Then Roman laughs, delighted. "She's got a brain, nephew. You might actually keep this one." In the car afterward, Kendrick takes her hand. "You were incredible tonight." There's pride in his voice, genuine and warm. Not a man showing off his trophy wife, but a partner recognizing an equal. Lyric's defenses crumble a little more. It happens on a Friday night. Maya's at a sleepover. Her first, with a friend from her new school. The penthouse feels too big and too small all at once. Kendrick opens wine. They talk about everything and nothing, and sitting on the balcony under Atlanta's light-polluted sky. "This doesn't feel fake anymore," Lyric admits, wine making her brave. "Us. This. I know it's supposed to be business, but..." Kendrick cuts her off with a kiss. It's not gentle. It's 3 months of tension and denial and fighting against something inevitable. Lyric kisses him back with equal desperation, and they barely make it to his bedroom, the one she's never entered. The boundary they swore not to cross. They cross it spectacularly. It's not just physical. It's the way he whispers her name like a prayer. The way she traces the scars on his back from a childhood he survived. The way they fit together like they were made for this. When it's over, they lie tangled in sheets that smell like him, and Lyric feels her heart crack wide open. "Stay." Kendrick murmurs against her hair. "It's don't go back to your room. Stay." She stays. Morning light is cruel. Lyric wakes alone in Kendrick's bed, and the cold sheets beside her feel like rejection. She finds him in his office, already dressed, buried in work at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. "Morning," she says carefully. "Morning." He doesn't look up. "I have calls all day. Conference with Tokyo. You should do whatever you need to do." The dismissal stings like a slap. Lyric retreats to her room, because apparently it's still her room, separate, temporary, meaningless. For 3 days, they circle each other like strangers. Kendrick works late. Lyric throws herself into her classes. They maintain appearances at dinner for Maya, but the warmth is gone, replaced by painful politeness. Maya notices. Of course she does. She's 6, not blind. "Why are you sad?" Mama?" she asks on the 4th night, crawling into Lyric's lap. "I'm not sad, baby." "Yes, you are. And Dad's sad too. Did you have a fight?" Lyric's throat tightens. "Something like that. You should say sorry. That's what you tell me to do." If only it were that simple. How do you apologize for falling in love when the contract explicitly forbids it? How do you say sorry for wanting something you agreed was temporary? That night, Lyric lies in her guest room bed, staring at the ceiling. Down the hall, she hears Kendrick's door open. His footsteps pause outside her room. He doesn't knock, she doesn't call out. The footsteps retreat. They're both miserable, both scared, both too proud to admit they've broken every rule they made. 9 months left on the contract. It might as well be forever. As Jamal appears on a Tuesday afternoon, like a nightmare Lyric thought she'd buried. She's picking Maya up from school when she sees him leaning against a Mercedes she knows he can't afford, wearing a smile that used to make her flinch. "There's my girl," he calls out, and Maya freezes, her small hand tightening in Lyric's grip. Lyric's body goes cold. Fight or flight chemicals flood her system, and every instinct screams run. But she's not that terrified 22-year-old anymore. She has resources now. She has, "Go wait by the car, baby," Lyric tells Maya, keeping her voice steady. "Lock the doors." Maya runs without argument. Smart girl. She remembers enough. "That's no way to greet your baby daddy," Jamal says, pushing off the Mercedes. He's bigger than Lyric remembers, or maybe she's just reverted to feeling small. Looking good. Yeah, Lyric. That billionaire money treating you right? What do you want? What I'm owed. He steps closer, and Lyric forces herself not to retreat. You got yourself a rich husband, living in penthouses, sending my daughter to fancy schools. I think I deserve compensation. Child support, back pay for 6 years. You signed away your rights. You wanted nothing to do with her. That was before you struck gold. His smile turns ugly. Now I'm thinking maybe I want my daughter back, or maybe just a monthly check to keep me from filing for custody. Your call. Terror claws up Lyric's throat. He could do it. Abusive fathers win custody battles all the time when they have good lawyers. And if Jamal exposes her marriage as a sham, if he proves she's unfit, her phone is in her hand before she realizes it. Kendrick answers on the first ring. Mate, Lyric, what's wrong? Jamal's here. Her voice cracks. At Maya's school. He's threatening custody. Don't move. I'm 10 minutes away. He's there in 7. Lyric watches Kendrick's Range Rover pull up with the controlled fury of a man used to winning wars. He exits the car, and Jamal's bravado falters. There's something in Kendrick's expression Lyric's never seen. Cold, calculating, absolutely ruthless. This is the man who built an empire from nothing. The man who destroyed competitors. The man who survives. You must be Jamal, Kendrick says, his voice deadly calm. I'm Kendrick St. James, Lyric's husband, Maya's father. Stepfather, Jamal corrects smugly. No, father. Kendrick moves to stand beside Lyric, a united front. Now, let's discuss what you really want. Money, as I'm assuming? Let me handle him, Kendrick had said in the car, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. No, I fight my own battles, Lyric had insisted. Then we fight it together. Now, watching these two men face off, Lyric realizes what partnership actually means. $500,000, Jamal says, and I disappear. Otherwise, I file for custody tomorrow. Tell the courts about your fake marriage, your agreement. Think they'll let her keep Maya when they find out she's a... Choose your next words carefully, Kendrick interrupts, his voice dropping to something dangerous. You're not filing anything. My legal team is already drawing up termination of parental rights. You'll sign them. You'll sign an NDA stating you'll never contact Lyric or Maya again. And you'll take the $200,000 I'm offering and disappear. $500,000 or $200,000 and you walk away with your reputation intact, Kendrick continues as if Jamal hasn't spoken. Or nothing, and I dedicate significant resources to making your life very difficult. Outstanding warrants in North Carolina, aren't there? Unpaid child support for 2 other children? DU. You never reported? I can have you in custody within the hour. Jamal's face goes pale. You're bluffing. Am I? Kendrick pulls out his phone, shows him a screen. My investigator is very thorough. So, $200,000 to sign away rights you never wanted, or I let the authorities know exactly where to find you. Choose quickly. I have dinner reservations. The fight drains out of Jamal. He signs the papers Kendrick's lawyer produces. Roman had them ready, Lyric realizes dimly. They'd planned for this. Jamal leaves with a check and his tail between his legs. The threat is gone. But Lyric can't stop shaking. She holds it together until they're home, until Maya's safely in her room. Then she breaks. 6 years of fear and trauma and what-ifs crash over her in waves. She slides down the wall in the hallway, gasping for air that won't come. Kendrick's there immediately, pulling her into his arms, letting her sob into his chest. I can't lose her, Lyric chokes out. She's everything. She's all I have. You won't lose her? His voice is fierce, absolute. I won't let that happen. Ever. Why? She pulls back to look at him. Why do you care so much? The contract doesn't cover... Fuck the contract. The words explode out of him. Ness, you think I care about some business arrangement? You think that's what this is? They stare at each other, truth hanging heavy between them. You're my family, Kendrick says finally, quietly. You and Maya. That's real. Everything else is just paper. Lyric kisses him. Not with passion, but with gratitude and relief, and something bigger than both. He kisses her back like a promise. Later, after she's checked on Maya 3 times, after the adrenaline fades, Lyric falls asleep in Kendrick's bed. Not the guest room, his bed, where she belongs. Kendrick lies awake, watching her breathe, her hand resting over his heart. He's in love with her. The realization should terrify him. Instead, it feels inevitable. Like coming home after a lifetime of wandering. 8 months left on the contract. He's going to ask her to tear it up. Nay, the federal agents arrive at 7 a.m. on a Thursday, badges out, expressions professionally neutral. Lyrics pouring coffee when the doorbell rings. Kendrick answers in his suit pants and undershirt. And the lead agent, a severe woman named Martinez, doesn't waste time with pleasantries. Mr. St. James, Mrs. St. James, we need to speak with you regarding your marriage. Lyric's coffee mug slips from her fingers, shattering on the marble floor. They sit in the living room, separately, the agents insist, while Maya's rushed off to school by the nanny Kendrick hired last month. The questions start simple, then turn surgical. When did you meet? Agent Martinez asks Lyric. 8 months ago. I cleaned his building. Romantic? The agent's tone suggests otherwise. And you married after knowing each other how long? 3 weeks. That's fast. Why the rush? Lyric's palms sweat. Because I was homeless and desperate. Because he needed a wife for a business deal. All the wrong answers. When you know, you know. In the other room, they're grilling Kendrick. Through the wall, Lyric hears his calm responses, the lie detector of his steady voice. Then Agent Martinez leans forward. What side of the bed does your husband sleep on? Lyric's breath catches. It's a trap. If she says the wrong side, they'll know. But which bed? The master suite where he used to sleep alone, or his bed now, the one they share, where he always takes the left side so she can see the door, because he noticed she needs to know her exits. Left, Lyric says. Nay, he sleeps on the left. And your favorite breakfast. He makes me coffee with oat milk, no sugar, scrambled eggs with cheese, wheat toast, lightly buttered. Lyric meets the agent's eyes. He learned I hate burnt toast, so he times it exactly 2 minutes 30 seconds. He puts raspberry jam on the side, even though I never eat it, because one time I mentioned my grandmother used to make it. The agent's expression flickers. She wasn't expecting details that intimate, that specific. They question Kendrick next door. What shampoo does your wife use? Coconut and hibiscus, the purple bottle. She hides the expensive stuff I bought her in the back of the cabinet because she feels guilty using it. So I started leaving it out where she can't avoid it. Her daughter's favorite bedtime story? Where the wild things are. But Maya always wants me to do the monster voices. Lyric reads it gentle. I make it an adventure. The agents exchange glances. These aren't the answers of a fake marriage. But the investigation stays open. Someone tipped them off with specific details. The original contract, the timeline, the separate bedrooms in the beginning. Evidence that suggests fraud. The media catches wind within hours. Billionaire's marriage under federal investigation screams across every gossip site. The Vision Tech board calls an emergency meeting. Kendrick's stock price dips. Everything they've built starts crumbling. Roman shows up that night, his face grave. Walk away, Kendrick. Divorce her quietly. Settle the investigation. The board's ready to pull the acquisition. You're losing everything. No, she's not worth your empire. She's worth more. Kendrick's voice is steel. I'm not leaving her. Roman leaves, shaking his head. And Kendrick's phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. We need to talk. Come alone. V, he knows it's Victoria. He should ignore it. Should tell Lyric immediately. But the text that follows freezes his blood. I have the original contract. Every clause, every signature. I can prove this marriage is fraud. Lyric goes to jail. Maya goes to foster care, unless you meet me. Tonight. The address follows. Kendrick stares at his phone, mind racing. Victoria has evidence that could destroy Lyric, could take Maya away, could send the woman he loves to prison. He types back, where? The response is immediate. The Ritz, presidential suite, 9 p.m. Come alone or I send everything to the FBI. Kendrick looks at Lyric across the penthouse. She's helping Maya with homework, her face still tight with stress from the agent's visit. She hasn't seen the text, doesn't know Victoria's tightening the noose. He should tell her. They're supposed to be partners. But if Victoria's bluffing, there's no reason to scare Lyric. And if she's not bluffing, maybe Kendrick can fix this before Lyric ever has to know the danger they're in. I have a late meeting, he tells Lyric, hating the lie. Don't wait up. She looks at him, something uncertain in her eyes. Okay. He leaves at 8:30, takes the Range Rover, drives to the Ritz with his stomach in knots. Victoria answers the suite door in a red dress, champagne in hand, victory in her smile. Kendrick, I'm so glad you could make it. What do you want, Victoria? You, back. She hands him a folder. Inside is everything. The original marriage contract, photos of the separate bedrooms, a timeline proving the arrangement. Walk away from her. Come back to me. We'll tell the board it was all a misunderstanding. The investigation disappears. Your empire stays intact. And if I refuse, then I send this to the FBI tomorrow. Lyric gets charged with marriage fraud, 5 years minimum. Maya goes into the system. Victoria's smile sharpens. You know foster care, don't you, Kendrick? Know what it does to kids? Want that for Maya? His hands shake with rage. You're blackmailing me. I'm giving you a choice. Your fake wife and her kid, or everything you've built. Choose wisely. Outside in the parking lot, Lyric sits in her car, a heart breaking into pieces. She'd followed him, saw him enter the Ritz, saw Victoria answer the door, watched through the lobby windows as Victoria handed him something as they talked intently, as Victoria touched his arm with familiar possession. He's choosing his empire, choosing Victoria, leaving Lyric behind like everyone always does. She drives home through tears, already planning her escape. Tomorrow, she'll pack. Tomorrow, she'll take Maya and disappear before the FBI comes. Tonight, she'll grieve the love she was stupid enough to believe in. Lyric's hands shake as she throws clothes into a duffel bag. Everything she came with fits in one bag. Everything she's accumulated in 5 months. The designer dresses, the hope, the stupid belief that she could belong here, stays behind. Mama, oh, what are you doing? Maya stands in the doorway, clutching her stuffed elephant, the one Kendrick won for her at the fair last month. We're leaving, baby. Pack your favorite toys. But why? Maya's lower lip trembles. This is our home. It was never our home. It was temporary. I told you that. The words taste like ash, like all the lies Lyric told herself about keeping her heart safe. I don't want to go. Maya's voice rises to a wail. I don't want to leave Daddy. The word, Daddy, not Kendrick, breaks something in Lyric's chest. He's not your daddy, Maya. We were just what? Just playing house? Just falling in love despite every rule designed to prevent it? Just building a family until reality crashed back in? I saw him with another woman, Lyric says, more to herself than Maya. Someone from his real life. It's someone who belongs in his world. So you're running away? Maya's voice is small, accusing, like you always say not to do. Out of the mouths of babes. The elevator chimes. Kendrick's home. Lyric hears his footsteps, hears him call her name. He appears in her doorway and freezes. What are you doing? What does it look like? Lyric shoves another shirt into the bag with shaking hands. I'm leaving before you ask me to. What are you talking about? I saw you. The accusation rips out of her. At the Ritz with Victoria, looking very cozy, having your little meeting where you decide which life to keep, your empire or your fake wife. Understanding dawns on Kendrick's face, followed by horror. You followed me. Lucky I did. Now I know where I stand. You have no idea where you stand. His voice rises to match hers. When I was trying to protect you. By sneaking off to meet your ex-fiancé, by lying about where you were going. She has evidence, Lyric, Kendrick explodes. The original contract, photos, a timeline. She threatened to send it all to the FBI unless I came back to her. I went there to figure out how to stop her without you getting hurt. The words hit like cold water. Lyric stops packing. What? She's blackmailing me. It's you or my company, you or my reputation, you or everything I've built. His voice cracks. I was trying to save you. By pushing me away, by making decisions without me. Lyric's anger shifts, morphs into hurt. That's not saving me, Kendrick. That's treating me like I'm still that woman on the cardboard, like I can't handle the truth, like I'm not your partner. I love you. Damn it. The confession explodes out of him, raw and desperate. I was trying to save you because I love you, and I can't watch you go to jail. Can't watch Maya get taken away. Can't. Love isn't protecting me from reality. Lyric cuts him off. Love isn't making decisions for me. Love isn't shutting me out when things get hard. Then what is love to you, Lyric? Tell me, because I'm drowning here. It's staying. The truth rips from her throat. It's fighting together instead of alone. It's not running when things get hard. She stops, hears her own words. Oh, God. She's describing what she's doing, running, packing, choosing flight over fight, just like she always accuses everyone else of doing. The anger drains out of both of them, leaving only raw vulnerability. I'm terrified of losing you, Kendrick admits quietly. Of losing Maya. Of watching this life we've built disappear because of a contract I wrote when I was too scared to admit I needed you. I'm terrified I'm not enough for you. Lyric's voice breaks. That I'll never fit in your world. That when you really had to choose, you'd pick the empire over the cleaning woman. You're not a cleaning woman. You're my wife, my partner, my... He crosses to her, takes her face in his hands. You're everything, Lyric. The empire means nothing without you. Maya's been watching from the doorway. So we're not leaving? No, baby, Lyric whispers, tears streaming. We're not leaving. Then what are we doing? Kendrick asks. Lyric thinks of Victoria, of the evidence, of the FBI investigation threatening to tear apart everything they've built. She thinks of her daughter watching, and learning what it means to fight for what you love. We're going to war, Lyric says. Together, no more secrets, no more protecting each other from the truth. We face Victoria as a united front. The truth could destroy us, or set us free. Lyric takes his hand. Let's tell our story, a press conference. We explain how it started as an arrangement, how it became real. We beat her to the punch. That's insane. The board will let them. Lyric cuts him off. You once told me I saved your life with a post-it note. Let me save it again. But this time, we do it together. Kendrick's phone rings. Roman, he answers on speaker. I heard about Victoria's ultimatum, Roman says without preamble. And before you ask, no, I don't think you should give in. You said walk away, Kendrick reminds him. I was testing you, but seeing if you'd choose wrong. There's pride in Roman's voice. You chose right. Now let's figure out how to destroy that woman properly, as a family. Lyric feels something settle in her chest. Not just Kendrick fighting for her. A whole team. A real family. Press conference tomorrow, Kendrick decides. We control the narrative. Now you're thinking clearly, Roman approves. They spend the night preparing, writing statements, anticipating questions, building their defense not with lies, but with truth. The messy, complicated, beautiful truth of how two broken people found each other and chose to build something real. At midnight, Maya asleep, Kendrick and Lyric stand on the balcony overlooking Atlanta. No more running, Lyric promises. No more secrets, Kendrick agrees. They're going to war tomorrow, but tonight, they're together. And that's all that matters. The conference room at St. James Industries is packed with reporters, cameras, and hungry eyes waiting for blood. Lyric's hands shake as she stands backstage with Kendrick, watching the media circus assemble through a gap in the curtain. She spots Victoria in the third row, immaculate in ivory, wearing a smile that says, she's already won. We don't have to do this, Kendrick says quietly. I can still pay her off. Make this go away. No. Lyric takes his hand. We tell the truth. All of it. Roman appears beside them, adjusting Kendrick's tie with the fussiness of a father. Remember, you're not apologizing, you're explaining. There's a difference. Maya's with Roman's wife in the green room, drawing pictures to calm her nerves. Before they left, she'd hugged both of them. Tell them you love each other. Oh, Mama, tell them we're a family. Simple wisdom from a 6-year-old? The moderator calls them to the podium. Lyric and Kendrick walk out together, hands clasped, facing a wall of flashing cameras and shouted questions. Kendrick raises a hand for silence. Thank you all for coming. My wife and I have a statement to make regarding recent allegations about our marriage. His voice is steady, commanding. The CEO voice. But when he looks at Lyric, something softens. 5 months ago, I married Lyric Hayes in what began as a business arrangement. The room erupts. Cameras flash like lightning. Reporters shout questions over each other. Kendrick waits for silence. I needed to repair my public image after a scandal that nearly destroyed my company. Lyric needed safety and stability for herself and her daughter. We entered into a contract, a marriage of convenience with clear terms and an expiration date. He pauses. But somewhere between the contract and now, it became real. Lyric steps forward, her voice stronger than she expected. I was homeless when Kendrick found me, sleeping outside the building where I worked as a cleaning woman. He offered me a deal, be his wife in name, and he'd provide for my daughter. I took it because I was desperate, because I'd do anything for Maya. She looks at Kendrick, and the love in her chest threatens to overwhelm her. But he didn't just give me shelter, he saw me when I was invisible. He treated me like I mattered when the world had convinced me I didn't. He loved my daughter like she was his own. And somewhere in the middle of pretending to be married, we fell in love for real. This is real love, Kendrick adds, his arm sliding around her waist. Born from unlikely places, built on honesty and partnership, and this is a fraud. Victoria's voice cuts through the room like a blade. She stands, holding a folder high. I have evidence, the original contract, proof of separate bedrooms, a timeline that shows this marriage is exactly what they admit, a business transaction designed to deceive. The room explodes again, but Kendrick's smile is cold and certain. You're right, Victoria. We did start as a transaction, and you have evidence of that. He nods to Roman, who distributes packets to every reporter in the room. But what you don't have is evidence of what happened after. The federal investigation already cleared us because our marriage is genuine now. Though what you do have is a serious problem. Victoria's confidence flickers. What are you talking about? Those packets contain evidence of your corporate espionage, how you stole my proprietary software and sold it to competitors, how you've spent the last year sabotaging my business deals through illegal wiretapping and bribery, how you blackmailed me just 2 days ago, threatening to destroy my wife unless I left her for you. The reporters tear into the packets, reading with growing excitement. You tried to destroy us, Victoria, Kendrick continues, his voice hard as steel. But you destroyed yourself. Federal investigators are already building a case against you. You'll be facing charges within the week. Victoria's face goes white. She looks around the room, at the reporters now turning their cameras on her, at the evidence of her crimes being broadcast live. She grabs her purse and flees, security following. The room shifts, the narrative changes. Reporters who came to crucify a fraud instead find a love story, messy and complicated and real. So, you really love her? Someone shouts. Kendrick looks at Lyric like she's the only person in the room. More than anything. And the little girl? Maya is my daughter in every way that matters. I'm in the process of legally adopting her. The questions continue, but they're softer now. Curious instead of cruel. The media smells redemption, and redemption sells better than scandal. When it's over, they walk out together through a sea of cameras. Roman's waiting with Maya, who runs into their arms. Did you tell them? Maya asks. We told them, Lyric confirms. That we're a family? That we're a family, Kendrick echoes, lifting her up. They leave through the front doors, not hiding, not ashamed. The flash of cameras follows them, but this time it feels different. Like documentation instead of judgment. That night, the headlines read, From Contract to Love, The St. James Story, and Billionaire and Former Cleaning Woman Prove Love Knows No Class. The Vision Tech Board approves the acquisition. The FBI closes the investigation. Victoria faces indictment. And Lyric Hayes St. James finally believes she deserves her happily ever after. 1 year later, Lyric Hayes St. James stands on a stage in cap and gown, summa cum laude cords draped around her neck, and looks out at an auditorium full of graduates who don't know her story. Don't know she was homeless 18 months ago. You don't know she slept on cardboard outside a building while studying for midterms on a cracked phone screen. But she knows. And that's enough. In the audience, Kendrick sits with Maya on his lap. Officially, legally, his daughter now. Adoption finalized 3 months ago. Maya waves frantically when Lyric's name is called for the student speaker. And Kendrick's grin is so proud, it makes Lyric's eyes sting. She steps to the podium, looks at her family, and begins. When I was at my lowest point, sleeping outside with my daughter in the cold, I believed I was invisible, that the world had decided I didn't matter, that my worth could be measured by the balance in my bank account or the roof over my head. Her voice strengthens. I was wrong. Worth isn't something the world assigns. It's something we claim. And sometimes, if we're lucky, someone sees us when we can't see ourselves. Someone reminds us we're worth saving. Her eyes find Kendrick. He's wiping tears. This degree represents second chances. It represents the invisible people who keep fighting when everything says quit. It represents the truth that where you start doesn't determine where you finish. Thank you. The applause is thunderous. Afterward, their small celebration gathers at the penthouse. Roman and his wife, Sienna and her new girlfriend, a handful of friends from Lyric's classes who've become chosen family. Maya shows off her artwork, a new drawing of their family, now including a dog they adopted last month. Speech was beautiful, baby sister, Sienna says, hugging Lyric tight. I'm sorry I didn't believe in you before. You believe now, that's what matters. Kendrick taps a glass, drawing attention. Nanas, I have an announcement. In Lyric's name, St. James Industries is establishing a scholarship fund. Full-ride college tuition for homeless women trying to rebuild their lives, starting with 10 recipients this year. Lyric's hands fly to her mouth. Kendrick, you're not invisible anymore, love, and neither will they be. But the biggest surprise comes that evening. Kendrick leads Lyric and Maya to the building's rooftop, where a small gathering waits, an efficient, flowers, their closest people. We got married once out of necessity, Kendrick says. I want to marry you again by choice. It's intimate and perfect. Lyric wears a simple white dress. Maya's the flower girl. They write their own vows. I choose you, Kendrick says, voice thick with emotion. Every day, every moment, I choose you. Not because of a contract, but because you're my home. I choose you, Lyric echoes. Not because I need saving, but because loving you makes me brave. You taught me I was worth choosing. They kiss as husband and wife, for real this time, forever this time, and Maya cheers loudest of all. Later, after everyone leaves, the three of them stand on the penthouse balcony. Lyric looks down at the loading dock, barely visible from this height. I was so scared that night, she admits. You were the bravest person I'd ever seen, Kendrick counters, sleeping on cardboard, protecting your daughter, and still leaving notes for a stranger who was falling apart. You saved me, you know. No. He pulls her closer, Maya between them. We saved each other. They go inside together, not a billionaire and a former cleaning woman, not a business arrangement or a scandal, but a family, real and chosen and fought for. Lyric closes the door to the penthouse, their home, and realizes she's not outside looking in anymore. She's not invisible. She's not alone. She's finally, truly home. And in the morning, she'll wake up next to the man who saw her worth when the world looked away, with a daughter who calls them both parents, in a life she built with courage and love, and the willingness to believe she deserved good things. The cardboard outside the Meridian Tower is long gone. But the woman who slept there, she's still here, stronger, loved, free. And that's the greatest happy ending of all. If this story made you feel something, tell me, do you believe kindness always finds its way back? Hit that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comment and subscribe because we have more incredible stories coming that will make you laugh, cry, and believe in the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.